Let's go long housing with Michelle Meyer. She's with Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Come on in here, Michelle. Don't be shy. It's Friday. The entire crew, they're insane today. Come in here and give me some insanity as well. Okay, Bank of America Merrill Lynch. I'm going to call it a cautious call from Ethan Harris and your team. Reaffirm us. What's GDP going to be, say, this quarter, not a couple quarters?
I think it's going to look pretty soft, maybe around 2%, so continuing the trend that we've seen. There's still a lot of headwinds facing the economy. The consumer's still cautious. We saw some increase in consumer sentiment.
There's been some good numbers here, right?
It's good relative to the trend, but remember where we are historically. Consumer sentiment is still pretty much in recession territory. Most consumers feel with close to 10% unemployment, still feels like a recession.
The president wants dollar to the rescue, exports to the rescue. Does he get it?
Well, we're hoping that we do see some strength in exports. So our forecast assumes that we do see a narrowing in the deficit. Yeah. It's widened out considerably over the past 2 quarters.
Audible, bring back consumer confidence. It was too much information, but bring back the Audible. We do an Audible, Michelle. We rip up the script and we do this, just like we do on radio. That's home ownership. I want consumer confidence. Come on, Rex. You're slacking away on Friday here. I need consumer confidence here, Rex. Casey Herzog, we're going to get it? No, we're not going to get it. Let's go with home. There it is. Less confident nation. This we just showed with Michael McKee. I mean, this is a Bank of America Merrill Lynch call for you. This is part of your tepid economy.
It certainly is. It's a large component. It's that confidence is still weak. And tying it back to housing, you just showed a brief clip of the home ownership rate. It shows that it's still an environment where housing market is weak, which means home ownership is still falling. And I think that trend will probably continue. Yeah,
bring up the housing chart now, folks. And there it is, early, we're back. I mean, this is early 1990s home ownership. We're coming down. Do we need to get down to the bottom, as Ed McKelvey at Goldman Sachs suggests? Do you agree?
No, I think we certainly are going to...
You got to Michelle's TV. There's a monitor down there. You can look down there, even though Victor's looking at the 103.
Fair enough. There's TVs all over us around here, Tom.
We're surrounded by TVs.
I think home ownership probably will fall further. But, you know, if you look back to that chart, we've seen a nice decline. We're the lowest in a decade. But I do think we will see further declines ahead.
Does that mean price decline as well?
Well, I think it means home sales are going to remain weak, inventory is going to remain high, and probably get larger.
So doesn't price clear that?
Prices, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for prices not to fall further. So I think we will see...
Can I get a number, please? Deutsche Bank gave me a number. Why can't I get a number from you?
I would say another 5% decline from here on a national basis.
Okay. And I kid Michelle, but folks, this is really important to try to get a point estimate, understanding that the economists and the strategists don't look at it as a point estimate. You're saying 5% with a band, right?
Of course. And there's a lot of factors that are going to be in place, right? So the pace of the foreclosures as they enter the market, that's probably the most important component in terms of dictating where prices go.
If prices go down, have you done this work? If prices go down, you're Michelle Meyer 5%. What does that do to the foreclosure rate? I can't find this study. Work on this over the weekend.
Fair enough. I think what it means is that further decline in home prices means more people with negative equity. And that means that they'll be more prone to default if they're struggling to pay their mortgage to begin with. So it's a double trigger. It's the idea that people are struggling to make their payments because of some sort of income problem, and they're in negative equity, which means they owe more than the home is worth.
Just for your appearance, I made up this chart here. This is inflation-adjusted home prices round trip. This is a shocking chart. This is real home prices, existing median home prices. Up we go, and then we go down. And we've gone from, in today's dollars, we've gone from a 230, 240 statistic down to where we are now, 170, 180,000. Yeah. Michelle, we're back to the 90s.
We are. And in some regions, we're back even further than that. So if you look at, for example, Detroit. In Detroit, home prices have fallen to 1995 levels. In Las Vegas, to 1999 levels. But then if you look at California, for example, we've fallen to 2003, 2004 levels.
Sarah, put out a banner. Michelle Meyer says Manhattan house prices have moved to a 2013 level. I mean, they don't go down, do they?
I hope not, because I am personally invested in Manhattan home prices. Manhattan is unique in the sense that there's supply limitation. There's only so much you can build in Manhattan.
Did you buy your house from Dolly Lenz of Prudential, Douglas Elliman? Like her minimum house is, I talked to her today on Bloomberg Surveillance, her minimum house is like $5 million large.
No.
What is that about?
Yeah, I can't say I purchased that type of home. But there's people out there with money to spend, and with little opportunity in the markets, but you can search for.
Join at the hip. It's an elegant chart here. Case-Shiller and median home price. We normalize them to the top of the boom. 2006, that red circle. I'm not supposed to cover my mouth. I can do this on radio, but I can't do this on TV. Rex is in my ear. So here we are. There is just such a linkage between price dynamics and unit dynamics. I mean, at the end of the day, they're linked.
Well, of course, because they're measuring the same thing. It's just different series telling the same story. One is showing the actual dollar amount of home prices, the yellow line, and the white line is showing the index. But they're pretty much capturing the same trend. How
do we clear the market then? If we go from price trends to unit, you mentioned higher inventories earlier. What's short of bulldozing them? Do you need a government program?
Well, okay, so you need time. It's just a matter of working through these inventories.
There's somebody watching this in Las Vegas that's going, yeah, Michelle, time, right.
Well, at the end of the day, you have an imbalance, and it's just a matter of getting time and demand to pick up. Government programs could help on the margin, but think about how much has been put in place so far. You've had many programs put in place to curb foreclosures, and they really haven't worked. You have a serious problem in the housing market that just needs to be worked out over time.
I'm speechless up here. She's giving me such gloom on the housing market. I can't. Are you going to? Would you buy or rent right now?
I think it depends where.
Oh, come on. That's like on the one hand, on the other hand. Would you buy or rent right now?
That's what economists are famous for.
Kansas City. You live in Kansas City. Would you buy or rent right now?
Well, I think if I had the income and I felt like I would continue to have that income for the next year or two, I think I would consider buying. Because
you got it. The affordability is just killing me.
You have mortgage rates at close to record lows. Home prices are very low. You can get a good deal right now.
Okay, Michelle Meyer, thank you so much. Bank of America Merrill Lynch.